Your personal and professional value is entirely subjective. Hi there, this is James Tripp. This is a video for James Tripp Chaos Wave. I'm still here in Venice, California. It is not sunny and it is not warm, so I'm kind of feeling cheated, but I'm out here anyway and I have a video for you, and it is about personal value, what you might be worth, what you have to offer the world might be worth. Now, I'm going to start this with a once upon a time story. Once upon a time, I knew a coach. Now, this is unsurprising, obviously, because the world I move in, I know a lot of coaches. I've had coaches, I coach people, but I knew a coach who I'd known for many years. I'd known since before they were a coach. They're a fantastic coach, and this is a person as well who had made a huge difference to me in my life, in the course of my life. It's a person whose ideas, information, input, concepts, this kind of thing have been incredible material for creation in my own mind. We used to have a lot of generative conversations. Now, one day this coach told me that they'd had a piece of feedback from a client that said, basically, you're superficial and your coaching is not transformative. Now, that's a kind of harsh piece of feedback to get if you're a coach, if you love what you do, if you love helping people make changes in their lives. But he kind of took it well with a sense of humor, and I found it very funny as well. But there's something really interesting and really telling in that, because this is somebody I knew and had known for a very long time. And to me, for me, their thinking was deep. I mean, this is a person that really looked deeply into the nature of things, made useful, pragmatic distinctions, really connected with what I would call true wisdom. For me, wisdom is understandings that assist you in living your life more effectively and efficiently. This is what wisdom is. So this person, as far as I'm concerned, was a seeker and finder and uncoverer of true wisdom, and yet somebody else experienced them as superficial. The other thing, your coaching is not transformative. I'd had conversations that weren't even coaching conversations with this person that had utterly changed the direction of my thinking of my life, how I showed up, how I engaged. And yet, the feedback was, you're superficial and your coaching is not transformative. So what the hell happened there? By the way, this is an uncommon piece of feedback, I want to say, for this person. This was not the experience of people in general. In fact, possibly we could say here, there is no experience of people in general. And this is the point that I want to make here. There is no experience of people in general. This was this person's particular experience, the experience they had. So, why does this relate to value? Well, it relates to value because a lot of the time we operate by this understanding that the value we have as a person, or for people out here who are professionals of some kind who are looking to create things into the world that make differences in people's lives and are concerned or considering or looking at the value of their output, the value of what they have to offer. Because I know people get hung up on this. It's a very human thing. It's very easy to think that value is something that's intrinsic. The value consists in something. This thing is valuable, that thing is valuable, gold is valuable, deep tissue massage is valuable, whatever. Person A is valuable, person B is valuable. Like value exists or consists within a thing. It's in there, it's the essence that's within something. But it's not. You see, value comes about as a result of evaluation. This is a mental process. It is an undertaking by a person, by an individual. In fact, the value of anything is only defined by the evaluation of the evaluator, so to speak. This is why one person can hugely value art, while somebody else, for example, is like, I don't get it, it goes over my head, I'm a Philistine. One person can hugely value, I don't know, a TV series, hugely value Game of Thrones, for example. Somebody else would be like, what is this? Because value isn't inherent, it isn't intrinsic, it is emergent from a process of evaluation. And we all evaluate all the time. And what we do this piece of mind magic, where we evaluate and we create an outcome from our evaluations, a final evaluation, and we place it magically into something like a spook, like a ghost being put in that thing, and then we act as if it really exists in the world. Now, we do this, by the way, with ourselves all the time, unconsciously, outside of consciousness. We are evaluating ourselves and coming up with ratings, and then mistaking those ratings for our actual intrinsic value. But these ratings are mind-made creations. If you offer a professional service, the value of your professional service is not something you get to dictate. You might get to influence it. Of course, you're going to show up and think, right, what can I really do here to have the biggest impact, all of these kinds of things. But ultimately, you have to let go of value because it's in the individual. Once you get to a certain point, I can tell you this, nobody gets to the point where they're going to have a positive impact on everybody. Nobody does. It just doesn't happen. In fact, you know, it reminds me of a piece of wisdom that I learned from my time doing improv theatre, which is actually something I'm planning on taking up again. The teaching was the best you ever get in improv theatre is 50% gold. And to get 50% gold, you have to accept 50% shit. Because that's as good as it gets, 50% gold, 50% shit. If you try and reduce the amount of shit you get to 40%, you're only going to get 40% gold as well. And then you get this 20% of like, nothing, boring, unmoving, no difference making. If you try and squeeze that shit, you get it all the way down to 10%. Well, you only get 10% gold and you get 80% nothing, right? Now, this is a thing that's worth being aware of, but here's the thing that misses. What's gold out of your 50% gold will be different to different people. If you go out there and you open up the channels and you create at your best, that's going to get received as, in aggregate, 50% gold, 50% crap. But here's the thing, different people will find gold in different aspects of what you do, and different people will find crap in different aspects of what you do, because that's what people do. They evaluate, they judge, that's where value comes from. So why am I telling you this? Why am I sharing this with you? Because I know that people get hung up. They talk themselves down all the time, outside of consciousness, even on a personal level, a professional level, whatever it might be. People talk themselves down. They don't even know they're doing it. They think they're describing reality, even outside of consciousness. Well, it really is true that this is this or that's that. You know, I had a client once say to me, you know, these professional footballers, do they really deserve the money they get? What does that even mean? Somebody sees enough value in what they're doing to give them the money. That's all that it comes down to. Somebody's evaluation says, yeah, I'm going to give you this much. Deserve, mind-made, fantasy. Okay? So, the reason I'm saying this is because often our descriptions of ourselves and what we offer in value terms, we treat as these objective descriptions of actual value that exists out there in the world, instead of recognizing the role of mental creation in these processes. Whether it's our own mental creation when we're evaluating ourselves and what we have to offer, or whether it's somebody else's mental creation. So value. If we want to increase the impact that we have in life, if we want to increase the impact we have with ourselves, i.e. feel good about ourselves, feel like, you know, actually, I got some value, because that's a good thing to feel, right? I've got some value. Well, if you recognize that these are mind-made creations, if you recognize that you are evaluating yourself and that is an act of creation, one of the things that this enables you to do is start taking charge of that act of creation. Now, I'm not talking about breaking the rules of evaluation. When we evaluate, we actually do go through a process and we do look for value, or sometimes we look for where value is missing. So I'm not talking about just going, yeah, I'm great. I'm saying, like, look out there in the world and start taking charge of what you draw from it. If somebody turns around to you and says, you know what, you're really good at this, take it, embody it, bring it into yourself. Let that be part of your evaluations. Now, evaluations are made according to criteria. You get to change up the criteria. Somebody might say, I'm not a good person because I'm lazy, right? They've made an evaluation based on a criteria, laziness. They say, I'm lazy, I'm not a good person. Okay, so what other criteria? Let's forget the whole rabbit hole of lazy, whether you are, whether you aren't. What is every other criteria of evaluation that you're ignoring if you make that little alchemical maneuver in your mind that creates a level of self-experience that you might not actually benefit from? For a long time, I habitually evaluated myself by the things I failed to achieve, and pretty much didn't rule in the things that I succeeded in achieving. You know, so I'd work with clients, and any client that had huge amounts of change and everything, I'd be like, yeah, well, good for them, you know, they did good. And if a client didn't get such good change, I'd be like, oh, where did I fail? You see, that's a process of internal evaluation which is doomed to head into the downward spiral. Fortunately, I developed some consciousness for it and could step in as a creator and make different choices and go, hang on a second now, what kind of scam game am I running on myself? You know, what's the mental trick that I'm using to depotentiate, you know, where I'm at and where I'm coming from? So, you know, that's the thing that's worth being aware of. On the other side of this, I'm aware that there's people who put things out there in the world and want to make a difference to people, like the coach I was talking about earlier on. You just got to let people have their evaluations. This is the thing. If somebody's going to have an evaluation, you are not going to be for everyone. 50% gold, that's as good as it gets, right? I think you can't decrease the crap, but maybe you can increase the gold, and maybe you increase the gold by letting go of that neediness for everybody to benefit from what you have to offer. What you have to offer might not be for some people. It just might not. It might be exactly what person A needs, but absolutely nothing like what person B needs or thinks they need, right? But if you're going to be all caught up and hung up and thinking that it's your task in life to take charge of their evaluations, you're in a bad place. This is what I call playing a sucker's game. The coconuts are nailed down. You're going to be all needy, you're going to be all attached to something that's somebody else's business, i.e. their evaluations. So I just wanted to channel all this while it was in my mind. I was musing this morning on the nature of life, the nature of things, the nature of value. This came to mind. I wanted to share this with you. If you like this, if this has made a difference, I know it's an unstructured video, but if you like this, if this has made a difference to you, please do hit that thumbs up. You may have questions about this, and that would be unsurprising, because if you had questions about this, well, this isn't the common paradigm that people operate from. They believe that the value of things consists in things. They don't see the role of the evaluator, honor the role of the evaluator, look at their own role as an evaluator and recognize that they can create within that role. They don't do that. So this is kind of paradigm busting in that sense. If you've got questions, that would make sense. Use the comment section below. And also, if you're looking for rich perspectives on how you can more effectively create your life, using your mind to shape your life, that you will not get anywhere else, you will want to subscribe to this channel and make sure you hit that notifications bell, because that's the difference that makes the difference. Okay, so yes, creating your life, keep on doing that until we continue this conversation.